Hey, it's Michael, and this is the Kintsugi Podcast. I'll be back in a minute with today's conversation about resilience. But first, if you're interested in creating a better life, having a better career, please visit kintsugipodcast.com and grab your free workbook on how to have a better life. In it, you'll discover tips and routines so you can find the energy for the things and the people who matter most, so you can create a better tomorrow and create the life and career you desire. You did it. Hey everyone, it's Michael. I've gotten so many of those messages and I just love the intent and the love behind them over the last several days since I completed my Thank You 19 ride. For those that are new to the Kintsugi Podcast, conversations about resilience, the Thank You 19 ride was my day of celebration for my last bad day. On Saturday, July 11th, 2020, it was the 19-year mark. And if you don't know about that backstory, that last bad day story, I'll bring you up to speed. So on July 11th, 2001, I was out at a company meeting in New Mexico. I brought my bike out. I wanted to cross New Mexico off the states I've ridden my bike. I also wanted to get some of that New Mexico great air. I wanted to get some exercise because it was one of those offsites Monday through Friday. If you're in corporate life, you know the drill. And in between those 2 days, your arrival and your departure, they tried to torture you with PowerPoint. So I thought exercise was in order. I was also training for a race that was coming up in our local town. So I wanted to be fit. Well, on the morning of July 11th, 2001, I came around a bend and a Ford Explorer had crossed fully into my lane. He was traveling about 40 miles an hour and he hit me head on. I remember everything about the impact, the sound that I made as I hit his front grille. Into the windshield I went, the screech of his brakes. I still vividly can remember the screech of his brakes. The thud I made as I came to the asphalt below. Eventually I regained consciousness and I knew my life was in question. It was in the balance. The doctors really don't know how I survived it. They told my wife, had I been 10 years older or not in shape, I certainly would have died before I got to the hospital. I broke a whole bunch of everything, including when the left femur shattered, it lacerated the femoral artery. That made it a life and death situation. So the fact that I'm here connecting with you through the Kintsugi Podcast is, one, a miracle. The fact that I'm still riding and racing my bike, a lot of people just shake their head and they're really not sure how we were able to do it. But I do. It wasn't just me, it was all of us. So each July 11th, I try to celebrate life. I try to do big things. Over the last several years, I've released both of my books, Shift, Creating Better Tomorrows, and my last bad day shift. We launched our leadership academy called the Paceline. And this year, though, as I was thinking about what we all have been going through, something really tough with all of our crises, the economy, COVID, Black Lives Matters, I was starting to feel a little down, to be honest. And I was wondering, why am I training? There are no races. There are no charity events. So instead of playing the victim, instead of letting a bad moment turn into a bad day or longer, which is part of the Kintsugi spirit, I decided to create my own event. Hence the Thank You 19 ride. I was going to ride 19 hours inside on my bike, on my trainer, along on my Peloton app, or on Zwift, if you happen to know those two ways of exercising indoors, for 19 charities. To celebrate year 19. A little COVID-19 magic in there, hence the theme of 19. But we're going to raise a bunch of money for charities helping those who are helping others today. Because I know this, I'm only here today because so many people came to my aid during my crisis. So I wanted to do something to recognize this moment, to help others, supporting others during the crises of today. So a lot of people were, we had some doubters. We had some enthusiastic fans. So when I woke up on Sunday, after 19 hours inside, riding close to 300 miles, I got a whole bunch of messages and it warmed my heart. You did it, Michael. You did it. I can't believe it. You did it. And I totally understand the intent of those messages and all the love behind them. But what they were saying wasn't necessarily true. Yes, I did my part. I did it in that way. But to make the whole thing happen, we really did it. When I came up with the idea of the Thank You 19 ride, I knew the goal of riding 19 hours and raising a whole bunch of money, more money than I've ever raised before in my life, more hours on the bike than I've ever ridden, was enormous. Much like this moment in time, all the problems that we face are, the enormity can make us feel stuck. It can leave us with some doubt. It can leave us in this mode of inaction. But what I've discovered along the way since my last bad day and the recovery is that our challenges can bring out the best in all of us, bring the best out in you, can bring the best out in me. And when we shift our perspective just a little, they can help us realize that we are tougher than even the most difficult of moments. We are tougher than our tough moments. So Saturday was about, one, celebrating life. True. It was also about bringing attention to so many wonderful charities helping others today. That's also true. It was about raising money for them as well. Certainly true. But we fell short of the fundraising goal. It was a big one. I didn't know how to forecast it. I thought we'd have more media attention around it. I thought some of the companies would get behind it and publicize it. I also thought many of the charities would get behind it even more to recruit donors to the fundraising event. But I also realized that there's so much going on that this one guy wasn't going to disrupt everyone's strategic plan. But this one guy, just like it might be you or one of your friends, we can all do something to make a difference. Small steps, small pedal strokes together can make a huge difference. So I knew we'd fall short of the fundraising goal, and we have. But here's the thing. We still have raised more money today than if we never started. So yes, it was about fundraising, about celebrating life, all that jazz. But in reality, the Thank You 19 ride was about fighting the divisiveness, the victimhood, the hate that is too prevalent today. The ride was about love and connection and gratitude, and we over me. It was also about the value of having a strong peloton. Because when we're going through something difficult or unimaginable, we need others around us. So the Thank You 19 ride happened because of all of us, not just because of me, everyone. My recovery, where I am today, doesn't happen without all of us. So whether someone donated, shared it, rode with me on Zwift or Peloton, just encouraged me through energy and good vibes, or went to the bike shop, as one of my friends did, to pick up some chamois cream because my bum was getting a little sore, or just encouraged me on the live stream, you name it. Everyone had a role. Everyone made it happen. Everyone's energy, as I was on the bike in my bike room for 19 straight hours, the energy around me through the internet, in our community, with people I'm connected to and maybe not even connected to, it was essential to help me find the strength to keep pedaling. Because there were some moments where I was like, can I just coast? Because sometimes in our tough moments, we get there. And even those that doubted the whole thing, like, oh, it's a stunt, it's an event, you're never going to be able to do it. You've never raised that much money before. You've never ridden your bike that long, Michael. You ain't going to do it. Some people watched just to see me fail. But even those folks, even those doubters, had a role to play in all this. Because every strong peloton needs a dissenting opinion to prevent groupthink, to keep us honest. So even those folks had a role. After all that comes into us is energy. Energy is energy. How we use it, well, we have some say in that. So a lot of people, when they sent the message, like, I didn't do anything. You did it all. And I've respectfully told them and shared with them, that's not true. All of us had a role in making the Thank You 19 ride happen for it to become a success. My job was to ride the bike. If you're listening, you might have had a role. Everyone had their part. And if we weren't accountable to each other, then the Thank You 19 ride doesn't turn out to be a success. It may never have happened. And here's the thing about the connection between the Thank You 19 ride and today is that if all of us are not accountable to each other today, tomorrow, and the day after, we're not going to get through this moment successfully either. We need all of us to come together. So the Thank You 19 ride was a lot of different things. It was a celebration of life. It was bringing awareness to all the people that help others current day. It was a lot of gratitude towards them. It was about raising money, but really it was about the importance of we over me, all of us, connection, gratitude, love, resilience, and the fact that in life, in our careers, scars and all, we don't do much by ourselves. There's an African proverb that I shared during the ride a lot. It goes like this: when you want to go fast, go alone. When you want to go far, go together. I want to go far. The scars I have, the blemishes, the gray hairs, just like you, are kintsugi, if you will, as human beings. All those things tell this wonderful story about how resilient we are. It tells a beautiful story. It's our beautiful. It also tells this story that we did it. We keep pedaling. And although we have some tough moments in our life, we are tougher. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. That's how we create a better tomorrow. And so it's important, I think, as we think about where we are sort of halfway through the year, is to grab one of our PBRs, the ones that we talk about here on the Kintsugi Podcast, pause, breathe, and reflect, and really try to remember, like, when the moment gets tough, it's so easy to stop pedaling, that we don't think we're strong enough or tough enough to do that. But when we pause, reconnect with our breath, and reflect on all the times that you have been able to overcome a challenge, that you have a strong peloton behind you that will not let you fail. And how every scar that you have, every blemish, every wrinkle, every gray hair tells this beautiful resilience story. Well, when we do that, when we have that moment of reflection, it's so needed when we slow down. You can find more energy to keep going in those moments. Because this is a moment to keep going. This is a moment to come together. This is a moment to believe, whether it's God, universe, Mother Nature, what have you, they all give us opportunities to demonstrate that when the going gets tough, the tough get going. So when things get tough for you, as they did for me during those 19 hours, just remember to pause, breathe, and reflect. Because you got this. We got you. And the tough get going. As always, thanks for listening. If you have a question about this conversation about resilience, or really anything else about the ride, maybe how you wish to donate to the ride, or if you happen to see some of the footage and you saw my snazzy new Pause, Breathe, and Reflect t-shirts and you want to know how to get one, just go to kintsugipodcast.com and leave your question there. That's the best way to reach me. And I will do my best to answer it as quickly as possible. While you're there, you can also check out my Leadership Academy, which is, I think, vital current day. This is something that corporate America cannot deliver. It gives you someone in the trenches with you to help you navigate this moment in time, to help you create a better tomorrow, to help you become tougher during our tough moments. Again, it's called the Paceline Leadership Academy. I hope you'll check it out. I hope you'll drop a question in the question box. And also, I hope you'll share this and subscribe wherever you happen to grab your podcast, so more people can hear our message about resilience, about the Kintsugi podcast spirit, and come together. Because this is the moment for us to come together, because when we get through this and we look back, we will say that we did it. We got through this together. So again, thanks for listening. Until next week's conversation about resilience, have fun storming the castle. We'll talk to you then.